She once had an affair with her stepson, and now, by pure coincidence, she meets him again after all these years while she's with her husband. Terrified of what might happen if her husband finds out, she has no idea what's coming next, so let's see what happens. The movie begins with a woman named Mania, who goes away for a romantic 2-day getaway with her lover, George. George is a wealthy businessman and the owner of a large company, and he takes her to his private house on an island so they can enjoy some time alone together. Mania is preparing dinner while the two of them happily enjoy their time together. The next morning, when Mania wakes up, she is shocked to find George's son in the house. The moment she sees him, fear takes over her face because the two of them had a secret relationship in the past that no one ever knew about. Later, she joins them for breakfast and tries to figure out why he suddenly came there. George then introduces his son to her and tells him that Mania is an engineer who came to help him with his business since he owns a real estate company. But in reality, Mania is neither an engineer nor his assistant, she is actually his secret lover, hidden from his wife. While they are sitting together, David tells his father that his mother has no idea he owns a house on the island or that he brings women there. After saying that, he gets up and walks inside. Mania becomes upset by his words because she knows David is fully aware of all her secrets. A little later, Mania goes inside the house and overhears David talking on the phone. Curious, she picks up the landline connected to all the phones in the house so she can secretly listen to his conversation. But suddenly, she finds David standing right behind her, telling her that what she is doing is wrong. Embarrassed after getting caught, she quickly leaves him and rushes outside as the atmosphere suddenly becomes tense. That night, David sits down and has dinner with them. When George goes to the kitchen and leaves the two of them alone, David tells Mania that his father promised to buy him a car if he kept quiet and didn't tell his mother that Mania was staying with him on the island. His words deeply upset Mania, making her feel like she is nothing more than a replacement for George's wife. The next morning, she asks George to make his son leave the island, but George refuses and tells her that he cannot kick his own son out of the house. Instead, he asks her to tolerate his stay for the next couple of days. Later, Mania goes for a walk near the lake, trying to avoid David so he won't bother her with his comments. But David comes and sits beside her anyway. She completely ignores him at first and refuses to talk to him, but then she notices a sketchbook in his hands. Curious, she asks to see it, and when she looks through his drawings, she becomes genuinely impressed by his talent. That slowly breaks the tension between them, and she starts talking to him again. She asks why he came to the island, and David explains that he always spends his school vacations there. He also tells her that it's not his fault he accidentally interrupted their private time together. Little by little, Mania begins warming up to him again and tries to become friendly with him. David then takes her on a small boat ride across the lake. While they are together on the boat, she asks him if he ever met or fell in love with another girl after her. But David simply replies that he hasn't, and that he has never loved anyone except her. After that, Mania starts playfully splashing water at David, and the two of them continue spending time together on the boat until George suddenly arrives. At that moment, Mania asks David to put sunscreen on her back, which makes George a little suspicious because she is talking to David as if they have known each other for years. Later that night, Mania keeps praising David and tells George that he should let his son stay with them on the island for as long as possible. She says she no longer has any problem with David being there. George then tries to get close to her romantically, but she refuses and tells him that she isn't feeling well. Afterward, she goes to the bathroom carrying a pregnancy test, and the shocking surprise is that she discovers she is pregnant with George's child. The next day, David goes to her room and talks with her until she finally tells him about the pregnancy. But David shocks her even more when he tells her that his father would never leave his wife, even if Mania were pregnant. When she asks him why, David explains that most of his father's wealth actually belongs to his mother. If George ever asked for a divorce, or if his mother discovered he was having an affair, she would take everything from him, leaving him completely broke with nothing left. Hearing this terrifies Mania and leaves her deeply disturbed. She quickly walks away from him, but before she leaves, David frightens her even more by telling her that she is not the first secret lover his father has brought to the island. According to him, George has brought many women there before her, takes what he wants from them, and then abandons them just like all the others. Later, during lunch, Mania confronts George and asks him if he truly loves her, or if he is simply enjoying her company before eventually throwing her away like the women before her. At that moment, David becomes nervous around his father and tries to leave the table, but Mania stops him and says that no one is allowed to leave until they finish this conversation. George remains completely silent and refuses to answer her questions, which finally convinces Mania that everything David told her was true. Seeing the tension between them, Mania suddenly turns on some music and asks David to dance with her. George immediately becomes furious with jealousy. He grabs her and starts arguing with her aggressively, demanding that she stay away from his son and leave David alone. He accuses her of trying to manipulate David the same way she manipulated him. After that, George goes to David and throws him out of the house. Mania rushes outside, trying to bring David back because she is worried about him since it is already very late at night. But she cannot find him because he has already gotten into a car and left. She returns and begs George to let David come back home, but George coldly tells her to forget about him and focus on living their lives in peace. However, Mania refuses to listen to him. She goes searching for David and eventually finds him sitting alone on the beach. Mania asks him to come back home with her, but David tells her that he will never return to that house again. She then admits that she also does not want to go back there. The two of them leave together and go to a hotel, where they rent a room for the night. Later, George calls Mania and begs her to return home. But when David notices that she is talking to George on the phone, he quietly walks into the bathroom. After the call ends, Mania waits for him for hours, but he still does not come out. She slowly starts to panic because he has been inside the bathroom the entire time without saying a word. Worried about him, Mania finally goes to check on David. When he still doesn't answer her from inside the bathroom, she opens the door and finds him sitting in the bathtub, crying. He tells her that he doesn't want to ruin her relationship, but Mania reassures him and tells him not to worry about things like that or keep thinking about those problems. She comforts him, and the two of them leave the hotel together to take a walk outside. They spend a beautiful time together, even dancing in the street, and their relationship grows much stronger as they become even closer to each other. When they return to the room, they continue talking, laughing, and bonding more deeply while getting to know each other better than ever before. The next day, Mania goes back to George's house. George becomes happy the moment he sees her. He hugs her and even gives her a gold necklace as a gift. But Mania immediately tells him that she did not come back for him and that she is not returning to stay with him. She explains that she only came to collect her clothes and belongings because she is leaving him for good. Then she shocks George by telling him that she is going to live with his son, David, because David is the one who truly loves her. And if you enjoyed the movie recap, don't forget to like and subscribe, and stay tuned for more exclusive and exciting movies. Your support really helps us continue creating more content.
I know you told your friend you're not okay, and tell me what's wrong and why you never said you felt that way. And guess you're trying to stay strong and fake a smile until I look away. But I've known you too long, it hurts to watch your blue eyes fade to gray as you fade away, as you fade away. I know you told your friend you're not okay, and tell me what's wrong and why you never said you felt that way. And guess you're trying to stay strong and fake a smile until I look away. But I've known you too long, it hurts to watch your blue eyes fade to gray as you fade away, as you fade away. I know you told your friend you're not okay, and tell me what's wrong and why you never said you felt that way.